The Jarvis Bowl at Eastchester High School, the scene of today's game of the week. The Eastchester Eagles, coming off 2 straight victories, take on the Bobcats of Byram Hills coming down here from Armonk. And today, Eastchester has a chance to clinch the League 3B championship. Eastchester comes into it with a 2-0-1 league record, and they're being chased by Pelham with a record of 2-1. So if Eastchester wins, they win the league championship, and what a gift, nice gift for first-year coach Joe Luciano. This is Jerry Fishoff, along with Augie Lanzetta, will be calling the action today, and our producer-director is Dave Gargani.
Jerry, one of the things I'd like to say is that if you would have asked Coach Joe Luciano at the beginning of the season what he thought might be a successful season, I'm sure he would have been optimistic, but cautiously optimistic. I would have to say at this point he is probably a little bit surprised, but not too much. He knows he had talent on this team, but he's done a very good job with his coaching staff melding this talent and getting the most out of it. I think he's shown confidence in his offense based upon the number of times this year that he's tried fourth down opportunities and made them. I think he's shown very confidence in his defense, and I think overall that transcends to the team. So overall, I think kudos have to go to Coach Luciano and his coaching staff for instilling the confidence in this team. And I won't say it's a surprise, but it's certainly pleasant that they have come this far and are on the verge of getting into a bowl, hopefully.
And the coaching staff for Eastchester includes Phil Bichetti and Fred DiCarlo.
Absolutely.
So Eastchester will be kicking off. You saw them meeting at the middle of the field with the officials. The referee for today's game, John Malnati. The umpire is Paul Capuano. The headlinesman is Tony Dunham. Across the way with the chains, and down below us, the field judge is Kevin Mackey. So kicking off for Eastchester, Jeff Maldari, who had that outstanding game, and whom you interviewed, Augie.
Absolutely. On both sides of the ball, but specifically his leadership has come through each game, and in this winning streak, his leadership has certainly come to the fore in terms of what he's been able to do for his teammates. And we're ready to start, Jerry.
Okay, Maldari kicking off. Eric Nitty in the middle. He's going back, driven back into the 4-yard line, fakes the handoff. Nitty has it coming this side. He has a wall of blockers ahead of him, and John Smith trips him up. So John Smith, who now finally, toward the end of the season, has his number 21 in the home jersey. He had 21 in the visiting jersey. Just got his jersey, makes the tackle.
John Smith did a good job on that, Jerry. He broke through the wall of blockers and made the tackle, because if he would have missed, there was a wall of blockers in front of Nitty, and you know what Nitty can do. He's their star on offense.
Mike Ruska brings the team out there operating out of a wishbone. He has Kavazi, number 82, behind him, and it's a keeper, and he comes out for about 5 yards.
Tackle was made by number 64, John Lucenti, but not before. Pick up about 4 or 5 on the play.
They'll operate out of a wishbone, and they'll also operate with some wideouts. Jason Lafredo is the center. He's number 56. He's flanked by Steve Casano, 52, and Brent Turner, number 63. And the tackles are Shren Tor, number 75, and Mike Nicholas, number 77. It's a second down play, 5 yards to go for Byram Hills on the Eastchester 22-yard line. Here's a pitch to number 44, Jordan Garris. Garris sometimes lines up as the wide receiver, and other times lines up, as we saw there, in the wishbone.
Good penetration by Everett Vaccaro on that play, breaking through the line and making the tackle.
Along with Cooperman, who came up from the cornerback slot. 3rd down and 3. Ruska brings out his team operating out of the wishbone. Eastchester packing in tight. Big play for both teams early in the game. Eastchester drawn offside. Let's see if that goes against Eastchester. 2 of the players, Hamill and look like also number 78, Reyna. And it does go against Eastchester, so this will be a first down.
On a couple of occasions this year, Jerry, Eastchester has started slowly and allowed a touchdown on the first drive. I think one of the things that Coach Luciano would like to do today is stop that momentum. It happened last week against Bronxville, and it also happened in another game.
Pleasantville.
Pleasantville, absolutely.
And, of course, they never recover from Pleasantville. Pleasantville is a power. Pleasantville is still undefeated. They are 6-0. Eastchester comes into the game with a 3-2-1 record. Byram Hills with a first down. They have a 3-3 record. In the league, they're 1-2-0. Ruska calling signals. Hands off to Cavazzi. Cavazzi gets absolutely nowhere. Lucenti in there and Hamill in there.
Hamill, right. Hamill, great penetration by T.J. Hamill.
T.J. Hamill took up the starting line job last week, and he has more emotion than anybody else there. And you saw last week when he made some of those tackles, boy, he knew it, and he's really pumped up.
I'm sure he's happy to be in there now. He's worked very hard, and he's very happy to be a starter.
Second down play, gain of half a yard. Ruska calling signals, and Reyna goes offside once again.
It looks like it's something with the cadence. They're changing the cadence at the line of scrimmage, and it's causing the Eagles to go offside. So I'm sure they'll make some adjustments on that.
Well, they need to. They just can't give away 5 yards at a chunk, especially against a running game. So the backfield is number 24, Eric Nitti, number 82, Ken Cavazzi. He's the up man, and Jordan Garris, number 44.
And Garris is no slouch either, Jerry. He's done a good job this year, too.
Mike Ruska calling signals over Lafredo, the center. Goes back to pass. Intended for the tight end, Eric Detmer. Thrown a little high. Good coverage by Eastchester. Honorado is back on that one.
Good fake by Ruska. The only thing is he just overthrew him, but he was open.
For the Eagles on defense, number 78, Joe Reyna. Donnie Murphy, number 27. John Lucenti, number 64. And Justin Brucal, number 47, along the front line. Fiorello, Spada, Vaccaro, and Honorado, the linebackers. And now they show the I formation with a wide out on third down. A keeper with an option. Nitti has the ball. Nitti makes the first down and gets thrown out of bounds by Joe Fiorello, 46, and number 21, John Smith.
That's the way to bring Nitti down. John Smith did a good job of getting around the ankles and bringing him down in terms of tackling him high. He's not a very big back like a Morano, but he's certainly shifty and very tough to bring down. So good job by John Smith.
Nitti is only 5'7", 135. He's listed 135. He looks a little bit bigger than that.
But not much.
Operating out of the eye with 2 men split to the left. There's that cadence. Almost got Eastchester to jump off again. A pitch back to Nitti. He picked it up. He's running with it. He's chased by Spada. Spada gets blocked off, and he goes down to the inside, the 40-yard line, before he's bumped out of bounds by Eastchester.
Wiener and Lucente. And Wiener also. Free safety. Nitti is very dangerous. He has 4 games this year of over 100 yards. He's one of the leading rushers in the county, and defense is actually key on him, but he still is very successful. So he's a very good running back, and he bears watching today.
Charlie Cooperman took a hit on that one, and he leaves the game. Mike Honorata today is playing hurt. He hurt his shoulder last week. He's all taped up and padded up. It's hard to keep a kid like that out of the game. First down and 10. Ball marked just about at the 40-yard line. Ruska calling signals. Ruska goes back to pass. Comes this way. Has a man out there off the fingertips of Kevin Marr, the split end.
That was a good pass by Ruska. Laid it right in his hands. Just got even off the fingertips. So that should have been caught.
Charlie Cooperman comes back into the game for the Eagles. And going out, Joe Forgione. The Eastchester linebackers, 46 Fiorello, 44 Spada. Everett Vaccaro is 66. Mike Honorata, number 20. John Smith, number 21. Charlie Cooperman, the cornerback. Sean Wiener, number 38, the safety. Second down play. Pitch back to Nitti. Nitti gets nowhere. He was swarmed by 3 Eagles, including T.J. Hamill.
Also, Fiorello went on the play.
And Justin Brucal.
Absolutely. That's pretty much their bread and butter play, Jerry. And if Eastchester can stop that, it's going to be a long afternoon for Byram Hills.
3rd and 10 plus for the Bobcats. They're back into the wishbone now. Let's see if they throw that short pass to the split end. That's what they did last time they were lined up like this. carry is by Jordan Garris. And
that was Vaccaro on the tackle. 66.
They'll have to, let's see if they're going to punt or go for it. Let's see what they do. Eastchester last week went for it how many times on fourth down? 4, Augie?
At least 4 times, that's right. They were very successful. They've been successful all season doing that. Before that shows confidence, and that's good.
They're going for it. They have about 6 yards to go. Let's see what happens. Pitch back to Nitti. They have him boxed in. Beautiful defensive playing by Eastchester. And they held their positions. Brucal pinched him in. Great play by Justin Brucal. He wasn't in on the tackle. He did his job.
That's a good point, Jerry. When he slowed him up just sufficiently for his teammates to get in on the tackle. So good job by Justin Brucal.
So the Eagles take over. 1st and 10. Over the ball, Bobby Lagana. Boy, is there a steadier player that we've seen in the entire county than Bobby Lagana, in on every play?
He's done a nice job this year, and he doesn't get mentioned much because he's a center, but he's done a nice job.
Maldari going back to pass on 1st down, has Honorata. Honorata slips, and it's almost intercepted by Kevin Marr.
He was double covered. Nitti was also over on that play. But again, Coach Luciano showing confidence in his team, opening up with a pass. He's opening up the offense. He's done a nice job with that this year.
He really started opening it up only last week. A little bit at Pelham. Flanking Lagana, Vaccaro 66, and Hamill 65 at the guards. Lucenti 64, and Reyna number 78 the tackles. Here's a pitch back to Fiorello. Fiorello sees a little daylight, breaks through. Fiorello down to the 50s, down to the 40. Fiorello gets caught. He's still with the ball down to the 24-yard line. What a game by Fiorello. You just couldn't bring him down, Augie.
Absolutely. What he did is he just cut back a slight bit. He cut it in, and he was on his way. And again, Eric Nitti makes an excellent tackle, and he's done that all year. He stopped 2 touchdowns against one of the opponents. I think it was this year against Briarcliff. And he did it again. He stopped Fiorello from going into the end zone, but not before a huge gain, Jerry.
Eastchester split end is Joe Forgione, number 35, and Phil Skolaski, the tight end, number 93. Mike Honorata, the wingback, he usually goes in motion. There he does. Fiorello and Spada, hand off to Spada. Spada straight through on the right side, still going with the ball. That second effort once again by Spada gets the ball down to the 16-yard line. That is some gain. It looked like he was stopped at the line.
Well, you know about Anthony Spada. He's tough, he's hard-nosed, and he never gives up. The other thing is, and again, people sometimes underestimate this, the passing game opens up the running game, and that's what's happening. They can't just play run. They've got to work with the pass too.
3rd down and 2 for the Eagles. Split out to the left is Forgione. Honorata goes in motion. Maldari barks the signals. Maldari rolling. Maldari on an option. He's rolling. Cuts in, and he's caught for a gain of about 1. This gives us the opportunity to give the Byram Hills starting defense. Shrentor, number 75, is the nose guard. He's flanked by Guglielmo and Nicholas, 55 and 77 respectively. The big guy, Posner, is 84, and Lafredo, 56 at the ends. The linebackers are Casano, 52, Garris, 44, and Dunleavy. They'll move one of them up, so they have a 6 on the line. Hand off to Fiorello. Fiorello doesn't find any room, and he is pulled down by Garris.
Short loss on the play.
So it's a 4th down situation for Eastchester, based on
History.
Recent history. They should be going for it, Augie, right?
I would guess so. One of the things that's going to be key today, too, Byram Hills uses the 46 defense, which is a blitzing type of defense. So what's going to happen is Maldari's rollouts and how Maldari handles himself is going to be very key in terms of the results of this game.
And Eagles are going.
The Eastchester Eagles have 1 to go. Honorata goes in motion. Handoff to Spada. He has it, and he plows his way down to the 10-yard line. Boy, you hear those shoulder pads popping.
He's done that all year, Jerry. When you needed the big yards, Anthony Spada was there to bring it home, and he's done a good job again.
Beautiful day today. Field baked in sunshine. Temperature 62 degrees at game time. Blue skies here at the Jarvis Bowl at Eastchester. Eagles 1st down and 10 at the 10, but not first and goal. So it's 10 plus a fraction, a very small fraction.
We've been very lucky with the weather this year, Jerry. It's been beautiful. All our games.
Thank goodness. Honorata starts on the left side, goes in motion this time. Hand off to Spada. Spada, 5 yards.
Let's give credit to the right side of the Eastchester line. Good blocking to allow Spada to go off tackle and gain 5 yards.
Hamill and Reyna, who didn't start the season at those two positions.
That is correct. But a good job by both those young men to spring Anthony Spada.
So Eastchester looking to take the ball in early in the game. The game clock, 3 minutes and 30 seconds as Eastchester band kicks up below us. Maldari hands off to Spada. Spada drives forward for a few more. Every play so far, Augie, Spada is getting hit at the line of scrimmage, and he goes and gets 3, 4, 5 more yards.
Absolutely. Byram Hills has had a little tough time with some of the bigger backs this year. They did have a problem at the Pelham game, which they ended up losing. Walcott ended up gaining 209 yards against this Byram Hills defense. So they are susceptible to the big back.
Okay, you see that ball right at the goal line. Hand off to Fiorello, walks in. Oh, what a beautiful tackle there by Lucenti. Right behind Lucenti, what blocking.
That's right, that's down the left side of the Eastchester offensive line. Does a great job in getting Fiorello into the end zone untouched.
So we'll probably see Sunamura coming out, Maldari holding. So Eastchester scores first at the 3:12 mark.
Now Sunamura to attempt the conversion.
Now Taki Sunamura with Maldari holding. No, they're going for 2. They're going for 2. Oh my goodness. Augie Lanzetti, you could have caught that one as Honorata catches it.
Actually, he had 2 eligible receivers totally uncovered. And again, Coach Luciano shows another wrinkle and catches the Byram Hill Bobcats by surprise. Excellent job by Luciano and his coaching staff.
So, as we come upfield, and the marching band plays on Wisconsin, the Eagles lead 7-0. 2 minutes, 18 seconds left. Our producer today and director and cameraman, Dave Gargani.
Jerry, also, just as an aside, I like the emotion of the Eastchester coaching staff. When those players came off the field, Coach Luciano went to each one of them, shook their hand, and congratulated them. That means something when these kids are working so hard.
And in that drive, we've been able to call each of the linemen on at least one play.
Absolutely.
Hamill did a great job. Reyna did a great job. Vaccaro did a good job. And on the last one, Lucenti opened the door.
Absolutely.
The melodious voice of the PA announcer, Tom Ciceri in the background, the melodious giggle. Maldari kicking off. Wind at his back. Last time drove it down to the 5-yard line. And this time it gets down to the 10-yard line.
Dunleavy.
That's picked up by Dunleavy, who handed it off to Nitty. Nitty has it. He has nobody there. He only has Maldari to beat. Maldari coming in on him, and Maldari takes him down on the 30-yard line. Beautiful play by the Bobcats.
Beautiful play by Nitty, but let's give Maldari credit. He took the angle on Nitty, not an easy player to bring down, hit him low and got him down. That was a touchdown-saving tackle by Jeff Maldari.
And if the Bobcats were feeling a little bit down, they sure got the momentum back with that play. The Bobcats, even under Coach Rich Caputo years back, tried those fancy plays. So that's permanently impressed in their game book. And now under head coach Tom Bicheli. Operating out of the wishbone once again, Ruska calls signals. Ruska hands off to number 44, Jordan Garris.
Was tackled by number 66, Evan Vaccaro, but a big gain for the Bobcats.
And that goes for, let's call it 7 or 8. We'll call it 8.
Bobby Lagana checks into the Eastchester defense, number 75. Out comes T.J. Hamill.
A keeper. Ruska tries to cut back. He is tripped up.
And let's give Everett Vaccaro credit on that play. He did not go for the fake the pitch, did not go for it, stayed with the ball carrier and brought him down. Good job by Everett Vaccaro.
And Vaccaro just waited. He knew he was going to bring him down. In fact, Vaccaro was so confident that after the play, Vaccaro didn't even celebrate. He was saying, that's what I'm here to do.
Just another day at the office.
You got it. So it's a third down play on the loss. Loss of about 3 on that one. Still operating out of the wishbone. Ruska calls signals. Ruska goes back to pass. Has Marr out there and broken up by John Smith.
That's Smith on the coverage, and also Cooperman was over there, and so was Vaccaro from his outside linebacker position. Ruska doesn't waste any time. He doesn't take any huge drops. He takes a 2-step drop, and he fires the ball.
And he didn't even really look to see if the receiver was open.
This is Nicholas, I think. He's kicked a 37-yard field goal this year, by the way, Jerry.
Okay.
So he can reach from this distance.
Holding his Nitty.
This is a,
Snap is high. Nitty goes back. It's a broken play. They're the dangerous ones. He is forced out of play. A jarring play by Fiorillo.
What a hit.
And the question is, where was it? A spot. Oh, Eastchester gets a great spot. They miss it by a half a yard. Now look at that. Look where that ball is. The marker is resting right on the yard line, the 20-yard line, that is. And it missed by that much, as you see our cameraman Dave Gargani zero right in on it.
Well, and the end of this saga is Eastchester will take over. But to get back to Mike Nicholas again, he did kick a 37-yard field goal against Briarcliff. So he has the potential of going from, 35 out. And that could come into play later on in the game. We don't know.
Closing moments of the first quarter. Eastchester leading 7-0. Honorata goes in motion. Hand off to Spada. Here comes Spada. Get a good idea from this angle what it looks like Spada coming at you. They stopped him after a gain of
About 5. 2nd and 5 for the Eagles.
about 5.
Good blocking again by the left side of the Eastchester line, springing the holes for Anthony Spada. And Spada, as we well know, doesn't need much.
Excuse me, 8-0 is the score.
That's correct. That's Bobby Lagana at center. Bring his team to the line of scrimmage.
Hand off to Fiorillo. Fiorillo looking to go wide. Uses a stiff arm. He turns the corner. He's grabbed by the shoulder. First down, Eagles.
Good bit of running by Joey Fiorillo.
And that's the end of the first quarter, Augie.
The hole was closed. He broke it outside and took it for good yardage. Very smart running by Joey Fiorillo.
Very strong running as well as smart running.
Absolutely. And at the end of the first quarter, 8-0 in favor of the Eastchester Eagles. Every week, Jerry, I see the improvement in several aspects of the game. They seem every week to get a little better in those little things that teams need to do to win. There is a separation between teams that almost win and the teams that do win. And Eastchester's been able to do some of the things to get over that hump and win. And that's, again, a credit to their coaching staff.
There's a very complex point system for choosing the teams that go to the bowls. Eastchester does not automatically get a bowl bid, and there are 6 bowl bids, 3 games in Class C. Class is, of course, determined by the size of the school. They do not automatically get a bowl bid for being head of League 3B. The complex formula gives points for victories, takes away points for losses, and also has a supplementary point system for strength of schedule.
How does tie fit into it?
Tie also has a point value. So it's a complicated system, and I'll explain who goes where in a few moments. Cross to Honorata. Honorata looking for room. Honorata cannot do it, and he loses about 4 yards on the play to bring up a second down situation. For the Eagles, the ball is on their 30, let's call it 32-yard line.
That is obviously one of Eastchester's favorite plays. They've run it every week several times, and for the most part, it's successful.
And I think teams can really pick that up easily. They only had one back, and Honorata split out to the side. And the respective coaching staffs do a good job in scouting.
Absolutely.
This brings up a second down situation. Here's Honorata in motion. One man split to the left. Misdirection doesn't fool anybody, or certainly doesn't fool number 56.
And number 25.
Lafredo.
And number 25, Mike Dunleavy. Good job of staying home on that. They didn't get fooled by the misdirection. They stayed where they were supposed to be, stayed home and made the tackle. Good job.
That's the Michigan fight song, right?
Yes. I'm surprised with the 46 defense. They're really not doing a lot. I thought they'd do a lot more blitzing, but obviously Malderi's short drop and the fact that he's passing and rolling out is kind of negating that rush.
Honorata flanked out on the near side. Spada and Fiorello line up in the eye. Malderi goes back, rolls out, looks for Honorata, throws. He has Honorata out there. Great concentration. Honorata had to come back for it.
That's Nitty, number 24 on the coverage, along with number 25 Dunleavy. And I want to tell you, that is not easy with 3 defenders. Well,
incomplete.
But still, pretty good concentration by Mike Honorata.
Sorry, folks. Now, had that play occurred in the first quarter, Honorata would have been off to the races because the pass was thrown in the wind, held up just enough to create that situation where Honorata had to come back for it.
That's a good point. And there is rather a stiff wind blowing here today, Jerry.
Fourth down for the Eagles.
Kicking for Eastchester.
They have a lot of real estate to go, so they elect to punt away. Ball, line of scrimmage, 38. Maldari has some time. Comes down to the 40-yard line, where it's taken by Marr. And that's all she wrote on that one.
Good job by number 35, Joe Forgione, fighting off a block. And he was right there in case anything would happen.
So good coverage for the Eastchester Eagles.
So that's a 38-yard punt from the line of scrimmage. No return. And the Bobcats take over with 10 minutes and 10 seconds left in the second quarter. 8-0 favor of the Eastchester Eagles.
So far, the Eagle defense has come up big against a very powerful Byram Hills offense.
Now they're operating in the eye with a bunch of wide receivers, but they send it up the middle with Cavazzi. And Cavazzi goes for close to the first down, depends on the spot. A little bit short.
And he is the third back in a trio of backs that has done very well this year, obviously led by Nitty, who's had 4 100-yard games this year. So they have the capability of running up some big yardage. In fact, they ran up about 400 yards against Briarcliff in their first game.
And he's small, too. He's 5'9", 153. Why he wears number 82, I don't know, as a fullback. Operating out of the eye, Ruska fakes the handoff, pitches out this way to Nitty. Nitty looking for some room. And Forgione misses him and finally pushed out of bounds by Sean Wiener, number 38.
Good fake by quarterback Ruska. He drew in one of the ends, and basically he sprang that run. So good job by Ruska.
Well, this is a first down for the Bobcats. They're back in Eagle territory. The ball is spotted down at the 38-yard line. We'd like to thank our friends at County TV in Stamford and Greg Radio and TV in New Rochelle for supplying tapes and the video equipment for our games. Operating out of the split of the wishbone, handoff to the first man through, Cavazzi. Cavazzi gains a few, about 4 yards.
Gain of about 4 yards on the play.
That's the inside linebacker, number 44, Spada, and number 65, T.J. Hamill, making the tackle. We'll bring up about a 2nd and 5.
The Bobcats seem to be having moderate success running at the middle of the Eastchester line. They're gaining 4 or 5 yards. at a clip.
And that does open up the defense a little bit, Jerry.
I formation. Pitch back to Nitti. Same play to the other side. Fiorello grabs him by the uniform, but he carries Fiorello all the way for the first down, and the Bobcats now have the ball down inside the 25-yard line. The exact spot looks to be around the 21, we'll call it. First down and 10 for the Bobcats.
We hadn't been calling Nitty's number in the first quarter very much, but they seem to be going to him more and more as the game goes on. Actually, that's their bread and butter back, obviously.
And now they're opening up the defense, showing pass. They have Marr split out, as well as Garris operating out of the eye. Eastchester gets back onside, handoff to Kavazi, tries to go to the left side, and he's smothered by number 44, Anthony Spada. That's a gain of about 3.5, 4 yards.
Absolutely, Jerry.
They need to get down to the 12-yard line for the first down.
And Bobby Lagan and Donnie Murphy checking in for the Eagles.
Ball on the Eagles 16-yard line.
And John Smith checking out back into the wishbone. So they are changing up their offenses as Ruska goes back to pass, has a man out there. Touchdown to 84 Posner.
Dan Posner on the receiving end of that throw by Mike Ruska.
It was a great block from Jerry. Unfortunately, his number is not on the number 52 for Byram Hills. Made an excellent block to allow Ruska to get that touchdown pass off.
I think they really have no choice but to go for two. Augie?
I would agree. And as far as Ruska is concerned, he has had a few touchdown passes this year. That's his third. He had a 35-yard touchdown pass to Eric Detmer in the Ardsley game, which they eventually won 29-20. So he can put the ball up and has been really successful at doing that. And which obviously adds another dimension to their offense.
Pelham plays Ardsley today, and Pelham has a 2-1-0 record on Eastchester's heels. Eastchester, of course, with a 2-0-1 record. So Eastchester holds its own fate. If they could hold on here for a victory, they would end the season undefeated, actually, in League 3B.
And the pundits, Jerry, which we refer to on several occasions, have picked Eastchester by a touchdown in this game. So they've obviously gained the respect of the experts in terms of this game. They're picked as a touchdown favorite.
Very key play early in the game. So Marr is split out to the right, operating out of a wishbone. Let's see what happens. I'm not sure what that play was. It's still alive because the pass went backwards. Nope, now he calls it an incomplete pass. Doesn't matter. Play is down. No points, and Eastchester holds on. They lead 8-6.
Kevin Marr was open in the end zone. He was covered by Sean Wiener, but he was open and available to catch that pass. I don't know what happened there, Jerry, but unfortunately for Byram Hills.
Marr obviously was not the primary receiver on that one. It was that trick play that just broke.
We had an opportunity last week, Jerry, to give a little information on the modified Eastchester Eagles, and I think it's important that we give them some publicity. So yesterday, Eastchester's modified football team went to 4-0 by defeating Burroughs 42-7. Quarterback Bob Stevenson threw 4 touchdown passes, 4 to John Mignon. Johnny Diarco and Michael Covington also scored. So it was a big day for the Eastchester Eagle modified team. On defense, Jesse Howard recovered a fumble, and Michael Covington and Bob Stevenson had interceptions. So a big day for the Eagles.
When did the Eastchester modified team play again, Augie?
So they will play again next Saturday morning at 9:30 at Briarcliff.
Okay, so that would be the 12th at Briarcliff.
That is the 5th at Briarcliff.
Oh, that's right. We're still in October, folks. At least we are.
Halloween is Monday, Jerry.
Has something to do with setting the clock back. And here's the kickoff by Nicholas.
On
Honorata, I don't like the way he's holding the ball, but he comes up to the 25-yard line, to the 30, to the 35, steps over a guy, gets crunched, and I hope his shoulder is going to hold up. Dunleavy was on him, as well as Guglielmo.
I got to tell you, Jerry, Everett Vaccaro, number 66, threw a block and took not one but two Bobcats out of the play. And then got up and was looking to block somebody else. So Everett Vaccaro did a nice job of helping Mike Honorata tack some yardage onto that run.
Everett Vaccaro in a hitting mood today. With 6:46 on the unofficial score clock, the Eagles have an 8-6 lead.
8-6 lead for the Eastchester
Ernie
Eagles.
Santiago, number 23, is into the game for Eastchester.
Handoff to Spada.
Handoff to Spada.
There he goes again, stopped, and
Brought down by
4 more yards.
75.
He bounced off the original line of scrimmage. There were a couple of people blocking his way and just bounced off and gained 4 or 5 yards. Good run by Anthony Spada.
He was stopped by number 75, senior co-captain Shren Tar. In case you're wondering what kind of name that is, it's a Chinese name. It's H-S-U-A-N, first name, and Taur, the second name. Here's a pitch out to Fiorello. Fiorello stopped by Cavazzi.
Nice job by number 84,
I'm sorry, not
Cavazzi.
Cavazzi. That was Posner.
Okay, Posner.
And Posner was the one who caught the touchdown pass.
Third down and 9.
Augie, after the top 2 teams in Section C by the scoring formula are announced, they will play the Premier Bowl. There are 2 more bowl games after that. Here's Spada.
Handoff to
Spada goes 5, 10, about 12 yards.
Eastchester.
That was a misdirection, Jerry, and Spada did an excellent job. Good blocking by the line, and Spada made the most of that opportunity, and he gets another first down. Good running by Spada today.
Eastchester will have at least 1 more game. After the first 2 teams in Section C, and I don't think Eastchester would be eligible for that. Pleasantville certainly would be one of them. And probably Nanuet in the Premier Bowl. The next 4 teams play each other in kind of a round robin. 2 more bowl games, and then the rest of the teams each match up 5 versus 6, 7 versus 8, etc. As Fiorello gains very little.
Spada is on a tear today, Jerry, and he's looking to duplicate his game against Pelham, where he had 33 carries and 131 yards, and he was obviously mentioned or named again the Colonial Cup MVP for the 2nd year in a row for Eastchester.
Well, he must have seen himself on TV being interviewed by our cohort, Mickey Morgan. He liked it so much, he says, gee, maybe a chance to get up here and talk with the boys again.
Well, he's certainly on a tear to do that.
And, of course, as every good back does, he thanks his line. I told him he had to buy him suits. Fiorello fumbles, and Fiorello covers up. A short loss for Eastchester.
That pitch was a little tougher for Fiorello to handle. It was almost at his knees, so and it bounced off his thigh pad.
No loss on the play. Third down and 9.
3rd and 9 for the Eagles. Ball on the 47-yard line. And there's a 4-minute warning. So with 4 minutes left in the first half, the Eagles with an 8-6 lead.
The Byron Hills Bobcats 6 and the Eastchester Eagles 8.
November 13th, Eastchester High School cheerleading tournament. The 8th annual Eastchester Invitational Kickoff cheerleading tournament.
Candy grams are being sold.
Candy grams?
Yeah, for a buck. Sponsored by the junior club. This is if you're an alumni of the school.
And you may hear one of our volleyball and basketball players behind us, Maria Valvano. Maria, when does the basketball season start? Because we'll be there, won't we?
November 15th.
Say it in the mic so everybody can hear.
November 15th.
And you look forward to it, huh?
Yep, I'm psyched. I'm ready to play.
Psyched, and so are we. We'll see you there.
Thank you. See you later.
Boy, she is a fun kid, isn't she, Augie?
Absolutely.
She's been the mascot. I think we have Chris Nargi today as the mascot. Maria was the mascot. I think she dresses up as the Brown Eagle.
I'm looking forward to the basketball season, Jerry, because especially on the girls' side, they have Magdalene and Annie and Maria Valvano now that are, I think, are juniors.
They're only juniors, Augie.
That's right, and they've had very stellar careers up to this point, so I'm looking forward to their successes this year.
And, of course, we'll have Paul Votano with us to call a lot of the action. Eastchester, third down play. Maldari goes back. He goes for Honorata. Honorata jumps. What a fantastic catch. He pulled that right out of the grasp of Mike Perna, the cornerback.
I want to tell you, good pass by Jeff Maldari, right on the money, but greater concentration by Mike Honorata.
It was excellent coverage by Perna.
Yes, it certainly was.
So now, Eastchester is fighting the clock.
And every pass they complete helps Anthony Spada and Joey Fiorello by opening up the defense. So good mix and calling of plays by the Eastchester coaching staff.
Ball on the 17-yard line. Handoff to Spada. Eastchester may be called for illegal motion on that one.
Yep, that's the preliminary indication, Jerry.
And that will hurt.
First down and 15 for the Eagles.
You can see the referee, John Malnati, calling the illegal motion.
If you're an EHS alumni, please check into the concession stand to complete an alumni questionnaire. We'd also like to
Bobby Lagana over the ball.
EHS class of 1958.
Jeff Maldari has Spada and Fiorello to his left. Honorata goes in motion. Handoff messed up, and Maldari falls on it.
Handoff intended for Spada, recovered by Jeff Maldari.
They've got a good opportunity here, Jerry, and it seems like they're shooting themselves in the foot. There's been a mix-up and a penalty, so hopefully they'll get it straightened out.
And Maldari comes over to talk to Coach Luciano, find out what the play is. Luciano was not happy with that, but they're only kids. They'll make mistakes. Lagana over the ball once again. Clock down to about 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Honorata goes in motion. They're lining up the same way as they did on the play before. This time Maldari goes back. And diving for the ball was...
He had actually
Honorata
out there and Honorata. I don't know who the primary receiver was on that play, but both of them were out there.
Actually, it was too short for Honorata and too long for Fiorello. So it's a third down for the Eagles and 19 yards.
Again, based on history, Jerry, they've probably got two more opportunities here with 3:07 left in the first half.
I would agree with you, Augie. Let's see what they do with it as they split out for Gion to the right. Honorata in the slot on the left. On an end around, here's Honorata trying to follow some blocking. He's still up, but he is finally smothered and taken down by Nitti.
Good job. Made something out of nothing on that play. He was stopped.
Also went on that stop, Jason Lafredo.
So here's that fourth down situation for the Eagles, and the ball is on the 21-yard line.
15 for the Eagles.
Possibly look for Maldari to roll out on this to avoid some of the pressure because they know it's a passing situation, and they're probably, with the 46 defense, probably blitz. So let's see if Maldari will roll out on his play on the option. But we'll see.
Eastchester operating out of the I for Gion split out.
No.
Maldari has Honorata out there at the goal line.
And again,
Off his fingertips.
he was double covered by number 34 for the Bobcats, Mike Perna, and number 24 to free safety, Eric Nitti, but the ball bounced off Michael's hands. Maldari got it there. Unfortunately, it was not received.
The Bobcats take over on downs. With the ball on the 21-yard line, Eastchester Government Access TV bringing you all of the action. Jerry Fishoff here with Augie Lanzetta, Dave Gargani, and the Bobcats. Let's see what they do. Operating out of the I, they have a man split out. Handoff to Kavazi. Short gain.
Tackled by Spada and Vaccaro.
Well, let's see if they open it up. A no-huddle offense, so they're trying to put some points on the board.
And Ruska has been known to complete some passes, so he's, they're not finished yet.
Flag on the play. Nitti has it. Going around the end. Fiorello corrals him, brings him down right before the 30-yard line. Let's see what the penalty was. And it goes against Byram Hills. 1 minute, 52 seconds left.
1 minute, 52 seconds left in the first half.
We're glad we're helping the PA announcers up here.
Sounds like an echo, Jerry. It's an echo.
All they have to do is repeat what we say. Let's see if we can throw them off by saying something wrong.
This week on Eastchester Public Access Television.
Oh, now Channel 14.
Channel 14.
Now he's trying to make up for it.
Jerry Fishoff and Augie Lanzetta.
Well, we got a plug there. Okay, second down play now. Back to the wishbone. Ruska barking signals. He goes to pass. Has a man out there. Marr over his hands. John Smith on the coverage.
John Smith on the coverage. That brings up a third down and 11 for the Bobcats with 1:30.
That pass was a little bit overthrown.
By the way, we should watch Jordan Garris. He has one of the longer completions this year, a 70-yard completion from Mike Ruska. So if he's out there, let's keep watching.
And he is split out. Here's the pitch to Nitti.
Pitch out to Nitti.
Nitti gets through some of the Eastchester players, but finally corralled T.J. Hamlin on the tackle. There was some room out there, Augie.
He was very elusive. He was very elusive. In fact, that 70-yard touchdown pass, Jerry, was a 7-yard pass that ended up being a 70-yard completion.
Timeout on the field for the Bobcats as they regroup. What happened on that particular play was that Eastchester had gone into somewhat of a prevent defense, and once Nitti got past the line, there was a lot of real estate.
I'm very surprised. He is extremely elusive and not very big, but he does a nice job in the open field. This year he has 541 yards and 64 rushes. So he has an 8.5 average, and he scored 4 touchdowns. So he's quite a very effective back.
Their backfield is very small. Ruska, the quarterback, is 155. Kavazi is 153. Nitti is only 135. And Jordan Garris, he's the biggest one there. He's 175.
And he has done, in fact, in a couple of instances when Nitti was keyed on, Garris was the bread and butter runner. So he has certainly the capability of carrying the ball for yardage.
So we're closing down the first half here. Eastchester trying to hold on to their 8-6 lead. If you just joined us, Eastchester scored in the first quarter. Fiorello ran it in behind Lucenti's block, capping a 60-yard drive. The PAT from Maldari to Honorata. Byram Hills, the only score in the second quarter. Pass incomplete.
That was a good call by the Byram Hills coaching staff. Just, again, Ruska takes a very short drop and fires the ball across the middle, and he was open. Unfortunately, he dropped the ball.
The old looking pass to Eric Detmer. I keep wanting to call him Ty Detmer.
He has scored a 35-yard touchdown pass this year from Ruska, so, again, they have quite a balanced offense.
Second down situation. 2nd and 10. Ruska coming this way on the keeper, on the option. Bursts into open territory, being chased by Fiorello and Cooperman, and Fiorello sends him out of bounds.
That will stop the clock with about 53 seconds left in the second quarter, Jerry.
And the key for the Bobcats was that they were able to get out of bounds. Now, it looks like Eastchester's giving up a lot of room running, but they are playing this prevent defense.
They're giving up underneath yardage, Jerry. They don't want to give up the big play. Again, I've said it every game. You don't want to go into the locker room on a down. You want to go on and up. You don't want to let a score come in at that point in time.
And certainly on that play, had the runner gotten by Fiorello, Cooperman and Brucal were right and back to make the stop. Pitch back to Nitti. Honorata has him in the grass. He gets out of it. He's hit by Brucal. And finally wrestled down.
It's like
by, who's that, Hamill or?
It's
Vaccaro.
And Lucente. John Lucente.
Oh, Lucente was in on it.
It must be like trying to tackle a bucking bronco. I mean, Honorata had him, and I don't know how he got away.
And then Brucal, who's bigger than he is, bounced Nitti, and he still kept going.
So there's 7 seconds left with the Bobcats. I guess at this point they've got timeout.
Another timeout. It's a second down situation, unofficially 37 seconds. So I think we're going to see him really open it up and try to fire it downfield. What they have to watch out for is the potential of an Eastchester interception and a run back, and that's exactly what happened in the Pelham game when Spada ran it in
Absolutely.
On the interception.
Two receivers to look at this point. One is certainly Detmer, who basically is a very effective receiver. He bears certainly watching in this particular instance.
And of course they have the big eye Posner, number 84.
Absolutely.
So second down and tons of real estate.
Second down and
About a quarter of a mile is what they're calling it up here officially.
And with no timeouts,
They have to get to the 42-yard line, the 38-yard line of Eastchester, and they're deep in their own territory, back at their own 30. There's the handoff to Garris, and a pass off of that handoff to Garris. So it was a trick play.
It was like a flea flicker play where the halfback, or the fullback rather, took the handoff and flipped it back to Ruska, and Ruska passed. So it was like a flea flicker, and it was intended for number 85, Eric Detmer. Again, one of the key receivers for the Bobcats.
Well, you may have heard a personal foul against Eastchester. So the play remains at second down, and this end of the first half is taking one long time.
And because there are still 33 seconds left, so there weren't too many seconds that ticked off on that particular play. And from what I can gather, the clock is very close to official.
Personal foul against Eastchester, roughing the passer.
That gives a big break to Byram Hills.
That makes it second down and 10 Bobcats.
Again, I would watch.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'd watch for Detmer, Jerry. He's, again, a key in this offense.
Detmer, number 85. So the ball is inside the 50. They need to get down to the 38. It's a first down on that.
Check that, it's a first down on that play, folks.
Operating out of the wishbone, Ruska goes back, tries to find Marr.
Incomplete, intended for
Smith
Marr.
on the coverage, pass underthrown.
And that only took 3 seconds, Jerry, so now we have 30 seconds left, and they still have 3 downs, and with passing and incomplete passes stop the clock, they still have an opportunity here, so Eastchester cannot let down.
Augie, did you buy your lottery tickets for tonight's $60 or $70 million drawing?
My wife did. She didn't tell me the numbers, so if she wins, she may not tell me.
Ruska goes back to throw. It's partially deflected, and guess who intercepted? Spada. I think he's best off going out of bounds and give Eastchester a chance to bring it in. He doesn't get out of bounds. He's taken down by Cassano and Nicholas.
That ball was deflected, Jerry, at the line of scrimmage. I don't know who did it, and that created a situation where Spada was Johnny on the spot and was able to intercept.
That should bring the first half close to a close. It looks like there's about 17 seconds. Clock is in motion. And let's see if Maldari goes down on one knee. Although he has Forgione split out to the left. No, he's going for it. He has Forgione out there. He has Honorata on this side. Honorata camps under the ball and gets out of bounds.
The clock's
still
on the
zero.
clock.
Well, that's not the official clock, so let's see what happens.
The scoreboard is not the official clock.
So it looks like there is some time left.
Michael Honorata is turning into quite an excellent receiver, Jerry. In one instance this year, he caught 5 passes against Pleasantville, and he's become a very steady receiver, and that adds a very good or interesting dimension to the Eastchester offense. Makes it a lot easier for Spade and Fiello to run when you have that threat of Honorata being actually a big yardage or big play threat that Honorata gives to this offense.
Yeah, too bad Honorata's not 100%.
That's right.
He's hurting. He really is.
But he's a gutsy player, and I give him a lot of credit.
His play is 150%, but his physical condition is certainly not there. He was questionable for this game.
Let's see what happens now. Obviously, it's a passing situation, and the only thing that Byram Hills wants to prevent, again, is that big play. They'll give it to him underneath, but they just want to prevent that touchdown going into the locker room, and which would give Eastchester a tremendous amount of momentum at the half.
Based on what we've seen before, based on what we've said, Maldari will probably look for Honorata. Let's see if Eastchester comes up with a different play, a trick play, maybe an option for Maldari not to throw it at all. Forgione split out to the left. Fiorello split out to the left. There's the difference, as well as Honorata. So they have trips out to the left. Maldari, with Spada doing the blocking, lofts it up there. A Hail Mary falls incomplete, and that should end the first quarter.
That was number 30,
first half.
That was number 35, Forgione out there, and they were triple covered just about at the 5-yard line, so it would have been a stretch even to get into the end zone, but good first half of football.
Score once again, Eastchester 8, Byram Hills 6. We will be back very shortly with the start of the second half. We're back for the second half. Eastchester holding on to a 2-point lead. Eastchester Government Access bringing you all of the action. And so far we've covered every game, either through ourselves or in cooperation with Tuckahoe. Jerry Fishoff, Augie Lanzetta. And we are about to start. And here's Augie Lanzetta to bring you the third quarter.
Thank you, Jerry. That is Ernie Santiago, number 23, and Michael Honorata, number 20, back to receive the kickoff by number 77, Mike Nicholas, who was also their field goal kicker. And we're about to begin the second half with 8-6 in favor of the Eastchester Eagles. High, end over end. Santiago tries to short hop it. He touches it, gets away from him. Honorata backs him up. Honorata has it. And Honorata is brought down at the 15-yard line by a host of Byram Hills Bobcats, led by number 82, Ken Cavazzi, along with number 63, Brent Turner, amongst a host of Byram Hills Bobcats. So the Eastchester Eagles will be in business, 1st and 10, on their own 15-yard line. I'm sorry, Jerry, go ahead.
Including Eric Deckman.
That is correct. That'll be Maldari at quarterback for the Eagles.
Yeah, the line goes Lagana at center, Hamill and Vaccaro are the guards, Reyna and Lucenti are the tackles, Skolaski the tight end, Forgione, whom you see split out to the left, number 35.
That's Maldari. Hands off to the second back through, Fiorello, who bolts across the 20-yard line for a 5-yard pickup, so it'd be 2nd and 5 for the Eastchester Eagles.
He was pulled down by Shrent Tor on the play.
And with the score 8-6, the Eagles start off with Fiorello on a straight dive play right through the middle, and it'll be 2nd and 5.
Shrent Tor is the nose guard for the Bobcats. He's flanked by Guglielmo, number 55, and Nicholas, number 77. The ends are Lafredo, 56, and Posner, 84.
That's Sal Linguanti, number 22, flanked out to the left side for the Eagles. Maldari barks out signals. Honorata in motion. And fumble. There was a fumble on the snap between Lagana and Maldari. And we're waiting for them to unpile. Looks like the Eagles have recovered. I don't know if Lagana did recover, but no harm done. But 3rd down and 5, or actually 6 to go for the Eagles.
Well, no harm done, except there was no gain and they missed a chance to advance the ball.
Exactly. And that's 3rd down now and 6 to go for the Eagles.
And Eastchester, who's been able to bang out 4 or 5 yards at a time, they need to get about 6 now.
It's a handoff to Fiorello, who's going wide, trying to cut it upfield, and he is brought down from behind, but not before he crosses the 25-yard line to about, well, actually the 25-yard line.
And now it'll be very interesting because they are short by about 2 feet.
And that was Cassano on the tackle for the Byram Hills Bobcats. And yes, we will get a measurement.
Well, I'm positive that is short. But it does give us a chance to see Ray Flood and Pete Monhag come out with the chains. And I think that's why they did it.
So let's get them on camera there.
Ah, there they are.
Okay.
Well, assuming that it is a 4th down for the Eagles, and as you mentioned, Augie, the Eagles have been... Oh, my goodness. I called it wrong, and I called it too soon.
That's okay, Jerry. You're allowed 3 of those a game, and this is only your first one, so that's okay.
Yeah, it's that error of parallax that got me.
Okay.
You know what that is? Explain to the folks the error of parallax.
I will in a second. Well, be that as it may, it's 1st and 10 for the Eagles on the 25-yard line. It's Mulderry, quarterback, barking out signals. Hand off to Spade, a second back through, and he goes over the right side of the line, and he bulls his way over the 30-yard line. And he's brought down by 3 or 4 Bobcats, including number 52. And that is for the Bobcats. Number 52 is Cassano. Who is not on my program.
Yeah, Cassano was listed as 46, one of the senior co-captains. Co-captains are Eric Nitty, Steve Cassano, and Shrin Tower.
That's Skolaski, the tight end, number 93. That's Honorata in the slot. And again, a handoff. And that was Spada, number 44, who bolts over the 35 to about the 37-yard line. And that'll be a 1st and 10 for the Eastchester Eagles. Again, good running by Anthony Spada over the left side of the line. And that'll bring up a 1st and 10 for the Eagles on their own 37-yard line. So starting the second half, a good ball control series for the Eagles. Mulderry again, and he fakes the handoff, goes straight back to pass, and he's got John Smith, but he underthrows him by about 2 or 3 yards. He was covered by number 20, Marr, who was step for step, but actually Smith had about a step on him. If the ball was not underthrown, Smith could have caught that ball. So a good route by Smith, but unfortunately an incomplete pass.
Well, on the other hand, Smith ran really long, and Marr didn't let him cut in, and I think that was further than the throwing ability of Mulderry.
Oh, absolutely. You're right, Jerry.
But again, Eastchester is mixing it up.
That's the key in this whole scenario, is the fact that they are running and passing. Hand off to the second back through, Fiorello, and Fiorello cuts across the 35 to about the 40-yard line. And that's Mike Nicholas on the tackle, number 77. And that'll bring up a 3rd down and about 8 to go. Well, actually a long 8. Ball is just shy of the 40-yard line. It's Bobby Lagana, the center, number 75, along with Vaccaro and Hamill at the guards, Vicente and Reyna at the tackles. And Mulderry rolling out, and he sees Honorata, and he hits Honorata. A good catch and a good job of rolling out. That's, again, how you stay away from that blitz, that 46 defense. He rolls out and finds Honorata open for about an 8-9 yard gain. I'm sorry, Jerry, go ahead.
No, we'll be short of the 1st down by almost 2 yards. And we'll see if the Eagles are going to try for the 4th down. And again, will they have confidence enough to go for it? And they're not bringing in their special team. They're going for it.
Well, we'll see. That's a full house backfield, and it's a handoff to number 46. Was that Percal, number 47? I couldn't say. Just a second. And I don't think they made it, Jerry, but I want to see who carried the ball. It's a little tough to see there. That's number 20, Honorata, who was blocking on that play. As they unpile, there's quite a few bodies on the ground there.
There was a obvious game tackle. We're trying to see who the ball carrier was.
This will depend upon the spot. As you can see, we're zeroed in.
I'm going to guess that was number 46, Fiorello, because it was very difficult to pick up.
And I'm not going to guess whether it's a 1st down or not.
Well, quarterback Mulderry is going out on a limb and saying that it is a first down. So we'll see if... Was that the parallax? What was the parallax? You're going to have to explain it to our viewers because nobody's going to be able to sleep tonight until you explain that.
I think we'll wait till next week to get a more scientific explanation, but it really deals with the angle at which you're looking.
Okay.
And it is a first down for the Eagles.
So
And
we sift through all of it. It's a first down for the Eagles.
And I hope the high school physics teacher didn't hear me explain error of parallax.
Okay.
Maybe we can get one of the students up here to help us with
Probably
it.
do a good job. It's 7:20 left in the third quarter. Score 8-6 in favor of the Eagles, and the Eagles are on the move. Smalderi at quarterback. Fiorillo and Spade in the backfield. That's Honorado in the slot. Skolasky at tight end. And big hole for Anthony Spade. He's out in the open field. Good tackle by Eric Nitti, number 24, hitting him low. But there is a flag on the play, and we'll wait to see. And the preliminary indication is holding against Eastchester, so that'll negate an excellent run by number 44, Spade. By the way, good block by number 93, tight end Phil Skolasky. But unfortunately, to no avail. And they'll be marching this off, and that'll sort of take away some of the momentum that they gained on this particular drive.
Yeah, that makes it a real big loss because they lose, obviously, that beautiful run as well as the yardage on the penalty.
Well, whatever. It'll be first down and long for the Eastchester Eagles.
Yeah, they'll have 20 to go now on a first down play.
And the ball is at the 37-yard line, their own 37, with 6:58 left in the third quarter. Smalderi barking out the signals. Again, handoff to number 46, Fiorillo, who pounds the ball to the earth because I guess he maybe noticed it out of the corner of his eye, that yellow flag. And another call against the Eagles from preliminary. The preliminary call is anyway. We'll wait to see what it exactly is. They're talking to number 75 of the Byram Hills Bobcats.
Trent Tor, one of the captains.
And motion decline. They will lose the down, and it will be now second down and 20 for the Eagles. Ball is resting on their own 37-yard line. That's Smith in the game, number 21, will be a receiver. This is a somewhat of an obvious passing situation. They flank Smith out to the left. They flank Honorata to the right. That's Smalderi back to pass. And Smalderi is airing it out. That's Smith. And he is covered by number 20, Marr. And they both went up at the same time, and Marr had a hand in deflecting that ball away, and it'll be third down and 20.
The problem with that, Augie, is that it's such an obvious passing situation, and Eastchester's only sending out two receivers. So they have Smith on this side, and they have Honorata on the other side, and each one draws double or even triple coverage.
Well, the other part of that, Jerry, is, of course, with the type of blitzing defense that Byram Hills runs, you need people back in the backfield to block for Smalderi to give him an opportunity to throw the ball. So I guess it's 6 of one, half a dozen the other. But they have two receivers flanked out to the left side. And Smalderi again back to pass, a quick pass. It was intended, again, Smith was crossing across the middle, and Honorata was cutting out, and it was hit by Smith, but incomplete. So that brings up a fourth down for the Eastchester Eagles with 6:32 left in the third quarter, with the score 8-6 in favor of the Eagles. And that's number 50 into the game for the Eagles.
Eagles chewing up
Marchese.
Eagles are chewing up time off the clock, but they aren't going anywhere.
And now it's fourth down and 20, and that's Smalderi back to punt. And that should be Nitti, number 24, I would guess, once we see his number. And number 20, Marr, back to receive Smalderi's a high snap. Smalderi does get it off. It's kind of like a floater. Takes an Eastchester bounce, hits at the 40, and gets down to the 35. So actually, Smalderi had kind of like a lazy floater, hit and bounced and it was for Eastchester. And basically, the Bobcats will take over first and 10 at their own 37-yard line.
Once again, Jeff Smalderi uses his athletic ability to corral a snap that was errant and make something out of it, as he did last week on that very important game-winning extra point.
That is correct. It'll be first and 10 for the Bobcats. East Chester did consume a lot of the third quarter in that particular series. That's Ruska. Ruska held on to it. He faked into the line.
Lucenti.
Number 82, Cavazzi, and Lucenti was Johnny on the spot right there to make the tackle.
John Lucenti on the tackle.
John was not fooled on that.
Loss of 5 yards on the play. Brings up a 2nd and 15 for the Bobcats.
And Lucenti, who did not start on defense in the first few games of the year, has been a pillar of strength.
Absolutely, he stepped up very nicely. But wait a minute, let's see what the preliminary indication is. It's against the Bobcats. So TJ was reacting properly in that instance.
TJ. Boy, he's becoming our favorite.
We like those initial players, you know, TJ and JR and RJ and all those other. So that brings up a 2nd and 20 for the Bobcats. The East Chester defense lines up with Lucenti and well, it was Murphy at the tackles, but now it's Hamill, and Reyna and Brocal at the ends. Linebackers are Honorata, Vaccaro, Spada, and Fiorello. That's Ruska. Ruska first back through, number 82, bounces off, makes a nice run, and crosses the 35-yard line to about the 37-yard line, tackled by number 47, Justin Brocal, but not a big chunk of real estate, and that'll make it 3rd and 10 for the Bobcats. Nice run by number 82, Cavazzi. Okay, 3rd and about less than 10, actually, for the Bobcats. Ruska, the quarterback, high formation, barking out the signals, and he's rolling out, and that's John Lucenti has that play diagnosed. They're not fooling anybody. Ruska looks like he was going to roll out, and before he had even a chance, Lucenti grabbed him and brought him down. Great play by John Lucenti again.
A pair of 200-pound sophomores, John Lucenti, TJ Hamill, doing it all.
Okay, back to punt for the Bobcats.
That's
number 85, Detmer. High punt. Honorata strolls under it, has it, slips, but he's down. He was covered by number 23, Anthony Morano.
That's the second time Lucenti slipped on a play today. Maybe he needs to check those spikes out.
You mean Honorata?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Honorata.
Yeah.
What did I say? Lucenti?
We've been mentioning Lucenti a lot, so I guess.
No, Lucenti didn't slip.
He might have.
Sorry,
we just didn't see it.
Okay, the ball boy, in case you missed him coming out there, is Brian Howell.
That's number 1 down there. That's right.
Numero uno.
And he is being assisted. Well, he usually assisted by John DiArco,
whom we don't see today.
Yeah, he's down there, I think, number 60, and in the carrying the water there.
All right.
And he's down there.
As Bob Everett says, the water boys.
It's a pitch to Fiorello, going wide, still going wide, and a good play by number 20, Kevin Marr. He strung that play out and waited for help. Good job by Marr.
Garris has to watch that. The whistle blew, and he kind of wrestled him and gave him an extra shove afterwards. In the pros, they're calling those things, but here they didn't.
That's a good point, Jerry. With 3:34 left in the third quarter, and 8-6 in favor of the Eagles. Game has slowed up a little bit.
2nd and 2 for the Eagles.
The Eagles have maintained, in fact, in this particular quarter, the Bobcats have only had the ball for 1 series. Otherwise, the Eagles have had it for almost the entire third quarter. It's Malderi barking out the signals. It's Fiorello and Spada in the backfield. Honorata in the slot, and a quick handoff. Quick handoff to, it looks like, number 46, Fiorello.
Handoff to Fiorello.
And he bursts, and it's a first down. He went over the 45-yard line, and he has a first down.
But he's very slow coming up. Let's focus in on him as Coach Bichetti comes out.
In on that stop, Steve Casano.
He's limping a little bit, as you can see.
And he's having a little tough
maybe it's a cramp, and Dr. Boyer will attend to him.
And he is a replacement number 38, Sean Weiner, for the Eagles.
1st and 10.
35, Joe Forgione flanked out on the left side on Ronald the slot. 2 setbacks, Spada and Weiner. And handoff to, looks like, Weiner. I want to say.
To Weiner, game tackle. Slight gain on the play.
So it picked up 2 on the play.
Second down and 8 for the Eagles.
Now Burcal is in the game, number 47. He does carry the ball too, so let's basically see if he gets involved in the offense at this point with a second down and 8 to go. The ball is at the 47-yard line of the Eagles. I'm looking to see if he is in the backfield, Burcal. Well, that's Mulderry rolling out, but that time
Posner just grabbed him by the
84 just burst through the line and brings Mulderry down for a loss.
Now, Anthony Spada has been out of the game, and I'm not sure why, especially with Fiorello also out.
Well, actually, the running backs, I missed it. The running backs are, I think, Weiner and Burcal.
Yeah, and I think it was Burcal who carried on the play
I think
before
you're
this.
absolutely correct, Jerry. We apologize to Justin Burcal.
We hear that Spada hurt his right ankle. Although he's standing up, he has
his helmet on
the sideline. He's stepping on it a little gingerly. Could you imagine Eastchester without Spada and Fiorello?
So there in the I formation is Weiner and Burcal. Actually, Burcal is the up back. And back to passes Mulderry. Here's it out. He has Honorata. Honorata looked that ball almost into his hands. Good job by Honorata. Slightly overthrown. Nitty on the coverage.
Number 34, Mike Herna, also on the coverage.
So the lack of the big running backs is causing Eastchester to open up its offense and go with a passing attack.
Back to receive.
And they had very nice blocking on that.
He had a chance. He had some time to throw that ball. So that means that Nitty, number 24, and Mark go back in to receive Jeff Mulderry's punt with 1:41 left in the third quarter. And that's low end over end. Takes an Eastchester bounce. Takes an excellent Eastchester bounce. Covered.
Still going.
And it lands just about the 9-yard line. Santiago, number 23, downs the ball, and the Bobcats will take over 1st and 10 on their own 9-yard line. Okay, how many yards was that? I know you're counting it, Jeff.
54 yards.
On the roll. Good job by Jeff Mulderry, and that pins the Bobcats way down in their own territory. And right now they are attending to Joey Fiorello on the bench.
Yeah, maybe we can get that Fiorello on the bench. They're applying ice to his knee.
Looks like his left knee.
And, of course, he goes both ways, as does Spada.
So we'll have to see who replaces Fiorello at the linebacker position.
And there's timeout on the play. I think it may have been Eastchester who called the timeout, and at least this will give the chance for their injured players maybe to recuperate a little bit. Spada is standing up. It's hard to tell whether he's going to be back in or not on this set of downs.
If you notice, too, on Spada, number 44, is talking to Coach Bichetti, and his right leg is taped, and he is walking with somewhat of a limp. So it's obviously his right ankle that's bothering him at this point. They're trying to look at it to see, because he would be quite a loss.
And that would be another loss. Anthony Spada right there. They taped his right ankle, and you can see at the bottom, in the middle of your screen on the bottom, his right ankle is now taped.
And he's talking it over with quarterback Mulderry and Coach Bichetti. In the meanwhile, we still have timeout with 1:29 left in the third quarter, and the score 8-6 in favor of the Eagles. This game is obviously by no means over. And with the two big offensive threats out of the game, it's going to be tough for Eastchester, so we'll see what happens.
But not only that, two of their linebackers.
It's a handoff, quick handoff to Nitty. Nitty bursts over the 10 to the 15, over the 15-yard line, and he picks up 6 yards.
But they couldn't get away from the other linebacker, Everett Porcaro.
That's correct. Everett stepped up and made the tackle. Let's see who. Trying to set the Eastchester defense, especially at the linebacker positions, with Honorata playing Porcaro. Looks like they've moved Reyna back to the linebacker position, number 78.
Yeah, Brucal, Hamill, Lucenti are on the front line now.
And Cooperman is playing linebacker also.
Well, he's up from his cornerback, so they're playing a 4-6 defense.
Great play by Justin Burcal, number 47, from his end position. Broke through the line, made the tackle, and there's a loss on the play.
And we couldn't have said it better. Tom Cesari, the PA announcer, called Bruchel's takedown a brutal play. We're giving him a lot of credit.
That's okay. He deserves it. He works hard up here, Jerry. And that'll bring up a, let's see, a third down and about 5 to go on the 15 or 16 yard line for the Bobcats. That's Ruska. Ruska. And Ruska gets to number 84. Dan Posner. And Posner is over the 25-yard line. That's a first down for the Bobcats.
Forgione going against Posner, and that's quite a mismatch. Posner goes 6'3", 210 pounds.
Forgione, we'll give you the stats on him in a second.
Yeah, he's, we got him listed at 5'10", 165. But he made the short tackle. Eastchester lining up 5 guys on the defensive line with Cooperman all the way up now.
Bruchel, Hamill,
End of the quarter
Lucenti,
with the score.
And Reyna on the, actually Reyna back at linebacker.
Hills Bobcats 6.
And at the end, this is now the end of the third quarter with the score. The Bobcats, I'm sorry, the Eastchester Eagles 8 and the Byram Hills Bobcats 6. And to take you through the fourth quarter, my broadcast partner, Jerry Fishoff.
Thank you very much, Augie Lanzetta. No scoring in the third quarter. The teams are changing sides. And what do we have? The medical crew working on Fiorello. He certainly doesn't want to come out of the game.
They're taping up his left knee, just about his knee, above his knee.
And there you see the aforementioned Johnny D'Arco, who, as you mentioned, plays on the modified team.
Along with Bobby Stevenson's down there, and who's the quarterback of the modified team, and also Mr. Howell.
Oh, Brian.
First and 10 Bobcats. As we begin the final quarter of play.
The ball is spotted at about the 25-yard line. Ruska's pass way overthrown.
He's intended for number 20, Marr, but way overthrown, right, Jerry?
Yeah, and we've seen him throw that pass a few times today, and what he does, he just lets it out, and hopefully Marr is in the right spot, and he has not been. Good coverage by John Smith.
So that'll bring up a second down, Jerry, 2nd and 10 on an incomplete pass.
Getting a little bit cooler. Wind is blowing up, going from right to left. Wind at the back of the Bobcats. Ruska calling signals. Almost drew some Eastchester players offside. Pitches back to Nitti. John Smith with a tremendous play. Takes down Nitti at about the 17 or 18-yard line for a big loss, Augie.
Smith was not fooled on that play. A good job. Breaks through the line. Makes the tackle. Good read. Good tackle by John Smith.
John Smith, 2 excellent games in a row.
Looks like with the amount of work they're doing on Fiorello, Jerry, that he's going to get back in this game. With the way they're taping him up, so it looks like I would look for the return of Joey Fiorello. Well, we'll see what happens.
The cornerbacks are way up. Honorata on this side and Cooperman on the far side for the Eagles. Ruska finds an opening in the middle and grabbed from behind by Lucenti again. And John is very slow getting up.
He just grabbed him from behind and dragged him down, but John is down, and hopefully there's nothing serious. And Phil Bichetti goes out to see what's going on with Lucenti. It's been a tough day for the Eagles with Spada and his ankle, and of course Fiorello looks like from his knee up to his thigh. And now with Lucenti down, hopefully it's not serious. Coach Luciano has to make some wholesale changes in his defense, because these are two-way players, so he's had to make some wholesale changes in his offense also.
Well, in a way, this gives the coaching staff a chance to see some of the players in other positions, gives a chance for some of the players who don't play that often to get into the game. Last week when Honorata was hurt, we saw Ernie Santiago on offense, did a fine job, by the way. And Lucenti is down. Looked like it's just a cramp. Oh, Lucenti, I think, looks fine. And what a game he has played.
That's very true.
Certainly one of the defensive stars of the game.
He's coming out, and knowing John as I do, he's going to want to get back in there as quickly as he possibly can.
Back to punt is
number 86.
86. Number 86. We don't know who he is.
Mr. X.
A very short punt. East Chester will probably let it go. And just about stays there inside Bobcat territory. Goes up to the 46-yard line. And that only went, call that 21 yards. So East Chester starts in relatively good field position. 10 minutes and 42 seconds left in the fourth quarter. East Chester looking to win the League 3A championship and as well earn itself a right to one of the bowl games. They need to be among the top 6 teams in Class C to do so. They will play next week nonetheless, either in a matchup game or one of the bowl games.
And we don't know where yet, Jerry.
Okay, Fiorello looks like he's back in the game. Brucal in there as well. Handoff to Fiorello. Very, very short gain.
Tackled by number 77 for the
77 in on the stop.
Byram Hills, Mike Nicholas.
And look who ran into the picture. There he is, Lucenti, John Lucenti. And Don Marchese, who was in for him, came out.
Ball on the Bobcat 46-yard line.
I knew if John was still breathing, he would have been back in the game. He's a real gamer. That'll be second down now.
Maldari goes back. He has Forgione out to the right. He's rolling. He's being chased. He looks, throws it down the sideline. Almost intercepted by Eric Nitti.
I got to tell you, I know he's an excellent offensive player. I'm very impressed with his defensive skills also. He's been around the ball all day. Does a nice job.
And he's not the captain of the team for nothing.
Absolutely not. We need to take a moment, Jerry, to mention our cheerleaders. We don't want to be remiss in doing that. Diane Passeri, Christy Royal, Lori Parada, Corey Spano, Betsy Howell, Laura Provenzal, Dana Tulada, Tara Franceschini, Harmony Krieger, Mandy Rocco, Nicole Riley, Annette DeMarco, and Melinda DeLeo. We certainly don't want to be remiss in not mentioning them. So,
Honorata in motion. Forgione on third down, split out to the right. Handoff to Fiorello. Fiorello bucking his way forward. It looks like it'll be close to the first down, and we may have a measurement here.
Mike Perna brought the ball carrier down, Fiorello, but a nice run. So obviously he's not showing the effects of that leg injury. Did a nice job going outside. Looks like he might have the first down.
And here they go again. East Chester has gotten the first down on each of the 2 previous very close measurements. And soon we'll see the chains coming in.
And East Chester has controlled the tempo of this game. They've had, obviously in time of possession, they've had quite a bit more time with the ball. It's short.
Fourth down and less.
Fourth down and very short.
For the Eagles.
So let's see what East Chester runs as Jeff Maldari checks in with Joe Luciano. East Chester in Bobcat territory with 9 minutes and 20 seconds left. 8-6. They have the lead. The ball is marked on the near hash mark. Tom Bicheli, the head coach of Byram Hills, is exhorting his team on the far sideline as you see Jeff Maldari come out with the East Chester play.
Let's face it, 8-6 is certainly not a blowout, and they've got an opportunity, so it behooves East Chester to continue to control the ball and the clock.
No, sir. Augie, you are right. It's dangerously close. And let's see what East Chester goes and does. Maybe a keeper. No, handoff to Brucal. Brucal has a first down.
Brucal put his head down and drove the tackler across, and good job by Justin Brucal. He knew where he had to go for that first down, and he got it. Good job running.
I think, Augie, that the Bobcats may have been keying off of Fiorello, thinking that, well, Fiorello is a starting back, and would they give it to a second string back on a critical fourth down play? Yes, they did. Brucal carried the mail for the Eagles. First down on the 35-yard line. Maldari calling signals. Operating out of a T formation, Maldari goes for about 7 yards, looks.
He had Michael Honorata there as the pitch man, decided to hold on to the ball and got a big gain for the Eagles. And more importantly, more time off the clock.
They were operating out of a split T on that. They had 3 backs across, Brucal, Fiorello, and Honorata. You don't see that too often.
No, not
So
really.
once again, the Eastchester repertoire on offense keeps growing and growing. Forgione split out to the left-right now. Honorata in the slot on the right. Second down play, 3 to go. Honorata in motion. Maldari fakes to Brucal. Hands off to Fiorello. Fiorello goes, his forward motion might have gotten him 1.5 yards. He'll be close to the first down marker.
Good job by Ruska, number 13. Was not fooled by that misdirection.
Hit on the stop, number 25, Mike Dunleavy, and number 55, Anthony Guglielmo.
Eastchester needs to get to the 25-yard line. Looks to be short by about 1.5 yards. Foot and a half.
And again, history tells us they've got 2 shots at it, so.
In this situation, Augie, would you put it in the air? Catch them sleeping. They're packed in to the right. The cornerbacks haven't been dropping all the way back.
I put it on the ground, Jerry. You want to run the clock out, so I would put it on the ground. But then again, I'm not a coach, so I don't.
Here's Honorata in motion. Maldari, well, they're not going to do anything with that. And Eastchester was lucky that they were able to fall on the ball as Maldari did on the fumble.
Okay, so that'll be 4th down. So that particular play negates any gain, and I think we'll have a 4th down and about what? Couple of feet?
Well, it looks like it went from 1.5 feet to 2 feet. So we'll call it 4th and 1. Eastchester with the ball on the 25-yard line of Byram Hills. Eastchester has an 8-6 lead. They scored first in the first quarter.
And this
Got the 2-point conversion. Once again, that 2-point conversion looms very large. Eastchester packed in, and 2 men go offside, and that'll cost Eastchester 5 yards. And we'll see whether they still go for the first, whether they still go for the first down on 4th or not.
See, in that particular instance, before the penalty, obviously, that's the kind of situation where Anthony Spada shines. It was a short yardage situation, and because Anthony's so big and strong, you give him the ball, and he can make those short yardage situations. But obviously, that's moot because at this point, it's now 4th down and about 5.5.
I think we will see Anthony Spada back in the game.
Well, that was a perfect opportunity for him, but we'll see. That's Brucal. They went out of the eye in that situation, but now they have 2 setbacks, and Honorata will be in motion.
6 yards to go. Maldari fakes, rolls out to the left. He has some territory out there. He's going all the way. No, he's tackled down by at the 5-yard line.
First and 10, Eagles.
What a great call by the Eastchester coaching staff. Fake into the line. Maldari rolls to the left side and has open territory. Everybody was expecting it to run up the gut, and he takes it to the other side. Good job.
Bobby Lagana pulled all the way out and threw the key block in the open field.
So a good call by Eastchester coaching staff and good execution by the Eagles. Key play in this game. Again, I can't emphasize it enough. Clock continues to run.
Boy, the way
27.
Augie, the way Eastchester's playing, they have so many stars in this game. Hamill and Lucenti, the way they're playing on defense. Lagana doing everything on offense and blocking. This is Fiorello. He's looking for daylight, trying to turn the corner now, tries to cut in. He cannot, and he is wrestled down by Mike Ruska.
Ruska, number 13, that's correct.
Mike Ruska.
And number 56 was also there.
56 in on the stop, Jason
Lafredo.
So it's second down. The ball is on about the 7.5 yard line.
And I can't imagine, and I'm trying to remember, Jerry, how much that Byram Hills has controlled the ball. I mean, they have not had the ball at all in this second half. Eastchester's had the ball for most of it and controlled it very well. So it keeps the ball out of the hands of the likes of Eric Nitti.
Second down play for the Eagles. Pitch out. Fiorello going left, and he is pulled down by Posner.
Number 84. He was not fooled. He followed Fiorello, and it's like he knew what the play was and broke through and made the tackle. Good job by 84 Posner. And that'll bring up third down, but again, the clock continues to run with 5:05 left in the fourth quarter.
It's a ball is on the 13-yard line. It is first and goal.
Third down and 12. Third down and goal on the 12.
Jeff Maldari barking signals for Forgione, split out to the right. Maldari fakes. He has two men out there. Forgione intercepted by Marr, and Marr brings it out to the 4 or 5 yard line.
That was a good play by Marr. He read the quarterback, knew where the ball was going, and stepped right in front of Forgione. Good job by Marr.
8-6, favor of the Eagles. 4 minutes, 38 seconds left. We'll have the 4-minute warning shortly after the first or second play by the Bobcats. They have a long way to go, and Eastchester has to be careful now.
Now the question is, number one, they have somewhat of a makeshift defense. Well, Fiorello is obviously back on at the linebacker, so that helps because that's his normal position. They have 75 Lagana in there. Now at one of the ends, with Reyna playing the other, with Reyna playing Spade's full linebacker position, rather, I'm sorry.
And obviously Spade is still out there. Here's a pit handoff.
Okay.
Handoff to number 44.
To Garris.
Tackle by number 38, Sean Weiner.
And number 38.
And there's a flag down, Jerry.
And it goes against Byram Hills. Good break for Eastchester. Took time off the clock, negated the run, pushed them back half the distance to the goal line.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, a trivia question for you.
So if the Bobcats are to do something to put points on the board, they have they're now inside the 5 yard line.
The answer, Jim McCarthy.
They will play the type of defense where they'll give them, again, the underneath yardage. They don't want a big play. And Jordan Garris is certainly has the potential of the big play.
Look who split out to the right. It's Nitty. They haven't shown this before. They hand off to Garris this time, and he is tripped up by Cooperman.
Nice
What a
play.
beautiful play by Charlie. And Vaccaro goes right over there and taps him on the helmet. Nice play, Charlie. And here's a 4-minute warning. The score, Eastchester 8, Byram Hills 6. Once again, the 2-point conversion looms so large
Absolutely.
as the critical turning point of the game.
And again, as we said last week, when those things happen, you don't really look at them as being large. But then in the context of the game, it certainly turns out to be that way. So you're right, Jerry.
Yeah, especially because there has been no scoring here in the second half.
But a tremendous amount of ball control by the Eastchester Eagles. So despite the fact that they haven't shown in the scoreboard, they have controlled the ball and the tempo of this game in the second half.
4-minute warning. Eagles lead the Bobcats 8-6. Second and goal for the Eagles. Check that for the Bobcats.
I'm glad we had a very short timeout for the 4-minute warning. We're ready to go. Ruska calling signals, goes back to throw, has Nitty all the way out there. John Smith was the closest man to it. Almost had a chance for the interception.
Actually, Smith was the primary receiver on that play because he had a better beat on the ball than Nitty did. But again, it's that very takes 2 steps and fires the ball. He doesn't waste any time. He just gets rid of the ball.
Yeah, he is obviously throwing to a location. And it looked like he had a little bit more time, Augie, than one would think based on the fact that he is getting rid of the ball pretty quickly.
I'm trying to see whether he's a senior or not. Ruska.
No, it doesn't say.
No, okay. Because there are a lot of underclassmen as quarterbacks in the county this year.
Flag on the play. It's in the backfield, so it'll probably go against Byram Hills. In the meantime, Jordan Garris carries it out to about to where a first down would be.
And Sean Weiner got very abusive with his jersey and dragging him down to the ground. But I guess it's to no avail because there's a penalty in the Bobcat backfield.
Yeah, speaking about jersey, Sean Wiener, I asked him, I said, your name is spelled wrong on your jersey. It's his name, obviously, W-E-I-N-E-R. It's W-R-I-N-E-R, if folks have noticed. It came that way. He didn't have time to send it back. And as long as we say his name right, he's okay.
That's okay.
Very personable guy. And playing a heck of a game.
It's 3:41 and counting, Jerry, and Bobcats are pinned way back in their own territory.
Yeah, Eastchester may get a chance to punch one in again because it's 3rd and 12 for the Bobcats. Going back, Ruska. He has, let's see who he had out there.
85.
He had Detmer.
Was it Detmer, number 85?
The tight end. Once again, super coverage by John Smith. What a game John Smith is playing.
He's playing step for step with every receiver that goes out on a pass pattern. He's doing a great job.
Boy, it's going to be hard, Augie, picking some players of the game, somebody to have up here and interview.
We'll line them up, Jerry. That's all.
They're showing punt at 4th and 12. And let's see what happens.
Honorata back in.
Punt, number 86 for the Environmental Bobcats.
And he steps out for 2 points.
85, Eric Detmer.
Now let's see what happens now. So the Eagles get 2 points on the giveaway safety.
And the score now, Eastchester
But
Eagles,
they will have to punt it away,
Byram Hills Bobcats.
or they can kick. It's a free kick from the 20-yard line.
3:24 remaining in the contest.
And again, plenty of time. The Bobcats know what they have to do. Even with that safety, they know they've got to get a touchdown. They know what they have to accomplish. So this game is far from over, and Eastchester cannot let down. The Bobcats have too many offensive weapons with which in their arsenal with which to score. So what they have to do, Eastchester is just this last 3 minutes and 24 seconds to play errorless ball and basically concentrate on stopping the offense. We have, as we have a moment here, we have the camera focused on athletic director Dom Ciceri, who is obviously very supportive of us and what we do up here. We want to thank him. And while we have a moment, we also want to thank the people at Town Hall, Supervisor Jim Kavanaugh, Rita Cohen, and of course Joyce Honorata, who brings the camera for us to do these games. We really appreciate their efforts. As we have said many times, this is a government access channel, but they give us the opportunity to put our games, our Eastchester games, on the government access, so we appreciate the cooperation of Town Hall and, of course, Athletic Director Dom Ciceri.
Who sets us up every weekend. The electricity is here. We're all ready to go. We have a table and everything. So all we need is the producer-director, Dave Gargani, who's here, Johnny on the spot with us.
I want to thank Dave. He's been very responsible this year and has done a fine job for us. We want to thank him. He's been a very pleasant surprise this year.
Not a surprise that he's doing a good job, but he's surprised us by showing up. And he'll be with us through basketball and hockey season.
Right, Dave? He's shaking his head, yes.
He can't say no after that.
Now that we gave him a glowing introduction.
The ball is on the 20-yard line for the Eagles, for the Bobcats. And they'll kick off. It's not, we understand it's not a free kick to recover, like an onside kick.
77, Mike Nicholas.
Look at this, Vaccaro! They take it in! This is unbelievable. There's a penalty on the play. There's a penalty on the play. Vaccaro's glory may be short-lived.
The ball did not go 10 yards, ladies and gentlemen.
Does the ball have to go the 10 yards if Eastchester picks it up? Boy, I wish we had Bob Everett here. Touchdown! It isn't! Unbelievable!
Well, we know now who we're going to have up here to talk to.
My goodness.
We can't avoid that, Jerry.
Well, he'll be up here even if we don't invite him. Everett Vaccaro.
Everett Vaccaro.
I wonder, if we get him up here, Jerry, I want to ask him what went through his mind when that ball was coming to him and there was nothing but real estate in front of him.
So on a return of a safety, free kick. And we'll get all of that background on where that ball has to travel to, the wheres and why fors. We'll have that for you next game, folks, because we'll spend a lot of time with Bobby Everett, our
A
resident referee emeritus.
And Jerry, there is still 3:11 left in this game.
Well, it's all over but the shouting now. In case you haven't added it all up, Eastchester now has 16 points. And Sunamura will attempt to put one in and make it 17. And Sunamura does it once again.
And the score is Chester Eagles 17, Byron Mills Bobcats 6. With 3:11 left in this football.
I haven't seen that. I mean, that was quite excellent.
Well, incredible. On essentially one play, one situation, Eastchester scored 2 points, 6 points, and 1 point. And you look at the score, 17-6. You say, well, my goodness, 2 touchdowns and a field goal. No, that's not how it worked today. A 2-point conversion, a safety,
and
a touchdown.
And I look down on that field, Jerry. You're absolutely correct. I look down on that field and I see freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. This bodes very well for the Eastchester Eagles, not only this season, but next season. Ficcaro's only a sophomore. Charlie Cooperman, I think, is only a sophomore.
If that. Yeah, he's a sophomore now.
Okay. Phil Scholasky's a junior. There's quite a few. T.J. Hamill, I think, is a sophomore.
And Lucenti.
And Lucenti's a sophomore. Burkow, I think, is a junior. They have a nucleus of a very good ball club. And, you know, even more importantly, Jerry, they have the impetus and the momentum based upon what they've accomplished this season in a very short period of time.
Well, we'll surprise you with our guests. Because we're not exactly sure. I think Ficcaro will come up on his own.
That's right. We'll tell you. Everett can come up. He's always welcome.
Here's a kickoff. Here's a trick play. Nitty. And he is wrestled down by another one of the stars of the game, Justin Burkow.
Absolutely. Burkow's played an excellent game. I think if Joe Luciano was going to describe this game, he would say it's a total team effort. I mean, we're mentioning individuals, and that's true, but this is a total team effort. Everybody has stepped up and played excellently in this game. And you know what? After last week and the week before, Jerry, they could have had a letdown, but they haven't.
Little time left. Ruska goes back on first down. Flag on the play. Ruska locks it up and finds the tight end.
That's 82. Kabazi.
I'm sorry, it wasn't the tight end. Kabazi, who is one of the running backs despite his number 82.
And that was
wind up wide on that
78. Joey Reyna on the coverage. Reyna, I tell you what, Reyna's been unsung. He's played several positions on defense. They wanted him to play linebacker. He played linebacker. They wanted him to play line. They wanted him to play defensive end. He's done a fine job in switching positions and doing a good job, an admirable job at all positions. That's number 50. Don Marchese, number 50, checking in, and number 88. Let's get him in the game
so
also.
Rich Palmero?
Number 88 is Rich Palmero, yes.
Yeah, Marchese was in the game earlier. Did a nice job while he was in there for a couple plays.
That's 27.
So we're in wind-up time.
2:53 left. Donnie Murphy is at right tackle.
Murphy played a strong game today. Here's Nitty. Nitty sees a little daylight. Nitty breaks through, except he's tripped up by Everett Ficcaro.
Along with Marchese, number 50, and number 46, Joey Fiorello.
Everett Ficcaro and Joey Fiorello in on the stop. Third down, rather. And 4.
So Eastchester undefeated and the champions of League 3B. Congratulations to Joe Luciano and his staff as the handoff goes for another first down as Jordan Garris carries. 2 minutes, 14 seconds left. We don't think we're premature congratulating Eastchester. They have an 11-point lead. It's a first down once again for the Bobcats.
That's number 70 checking in, Scott Vigilati. He's going to get, and this is what I like, Jerry. Now it comes a time where some of these players who haven't maybe not had an opportunity to do much playing this year get into the game and get into the action, which is very important to them. They practice just as hard as the first stringers. They deserve to get some playing time.
So Ruska lofts it up. Nice catch by Moore. Hit immediately by Charlie Cooperman, who's had an outstanding game as well.
We have a flag, Jerry, down on the plate, and it's about the 36-yard line
Of Byram Hills. It's all the way back, and it will probably negate a nice pass play.
Lucenti, Lagana are checking back into the game. Murphy's out. Marchese's out. And we're going to see what that flag indicates. It indicates that it's against, looks like it's against Eastchester. And they're talking to Byram Hills, Ruska, number 13. So it looks like we may get
roughing the passer.
With 1:58 left, Jerry, it's a matter of just playing smart football for this last minute and 58 seconds and not making any critical mistake.
38-yard line is the placement of the ball for the Byram Hills Bobcats. 1 minute 58 seconds left. And I sure hope I wasn't premature in congratulating Coach Joe Luciano, Phil Bichetti, and Freddie DiCarlo. Ruska goes back, opens it up, goes through the hands of Marr. He had gone around Smith. That's the first time Smith was beaten today. Also out there for the Eagles was Joe Reyna.
78, the linebacker, was out there also on the coverage, but that was a pretty good pass by Ruska. He was there.
Yeah, that was a very good move by Coach Luciano, moving Reyna to the linebacker and bringing in Lagana. So every button that Luciano has pressed has worked. Pass intended for Jordan Garris, incomplete. Third down.
20, Honorata on the coverage.
Brings up a 3rd and 10 for the Bobcats.
You know, Honorata does so much on offense, we hardly mention the job he does on defense. His pass coverage is outstanding. In fact, the pass coverage today by Honorata and Smith have been excellent.
This has been the most consistent game for Eastchester on both sides of the ball. I didn't see the Pelham game, Jerry, but this seems to be a very consistent game on both sides of the ball for the Eagles.
Ruska goes back on 3rd down, and the ball is overthrown. Nitty was out there once again.
And after he threw the ball, number 65, T.J. Hamill, number 64, John Lucenti, were in Ruska's face, putting on the pressure. So good pressure by the front defensive line for the Eastchester Eagles.
And downfield, Santiago had him covered like a blanket.
That's Hamill checking out. And Murphy checks back in at the tackle position. 1:37 left in the 4th quarter.
4th down play. Ruska hands it off on the inside. Cavazzi goes for the first down. 1 minute and 30 seconds left.
And 27, Murphy came up with the ball.
But they call that after the play. Fumbled when the ball hit the ground, which doesn't count.
And there is a timeout on the field with 1:27 left, Jerry.
As Eastchester band strikes up, everything's coming up roses. As Eastchester will extend its league record to 3 wins, no losses, and 1 tie. Byram Hills will settle in at 1-3. Overall for the season, Byram Hills will close out with a 3-4 record, and Eastchester will wait to see if they're amongst the top 6 teams. If they are, there'll be a mini playoff. Eastchester will not be among the top 2 teams, but they may be in that group of
What do you figure?
third,
Pleasantville
fourth,
will be
fifth, and
one, and who would possibly be the other one, Jerry?
Well, I think I had very powerful Nanuet, who's still undefeated. And I think those will be the 2. Tuckahoe, I believe, is not part of that group because Tuckahoe, even though they play in League 3C, is a Class D team.
Okay.
So they would go to a different bowl if my understanding
and
is
Tuckahoe,
correct.
very quietly, has played some excellent defense. They've only allowed 63 points and scored 153. So they've done a nice job this year. Congratulations to Coach Nicoletti on a good job this year also.
Nanuet has only allowed 23 points this year as Nitty carries the ball. We were here bringing you the games where Nanuet went through the entire season. what was that, about 6 years ago, without giving up a point. The only team in the country to do that. And Eastchester came the closest to score of any team. Ruska back to throw. Finds Marr, smothered right away by Santiago. Ernie obviously giving him some room, keeping him in bounds, letting time run off the clock. There's 54 seconds left. Eastchester holding on to a 17-6 lead.
You know what?
And it looks like that big play, Augie, was Everett Vaccaro's touchdown.
Absolutely. It was a turning point.
Handoff up the middle. Looks like it may have been Cavazzi. Yes, I don't understand why they did that.
I understand that goal.
Unless they thought they saw something which said, hey, we can go right into the goal line. There was enough of an opening. Hamill and Marchese come back into the game.
And with 46 seconds left, and the score 17-6 in favor of the Eagles.
And very quietly, Dom Marchese, the junior, has played an excellent game. As Donnie Murphy comes out.
And another issue, too, as we watch Anthony Spade on the sidelines with his right ankle taped, they've done a lot of this ball control without the services of Anthony Spade, who has had a phenomenal season. And I think it's only fair to say that we're very happy that Eastchester will hopefully play another game. We would certainly not want to see Anthony Spade's season end this way. We would hope that he would have an opportunity to carry the ball again in another game, and that's the way it looks, the way it's going to be.
Okay, while the teams are taking time out on the field, we'll cut and we'll come back for the conclusion of the game. Right. 46 seconds is the unofficial time. Lining up in the eye, Ruska pitches back to Nitti. Looks like a trick play. Nitti looking to throw. Finds a man down at the goal line to Jordan Garris. Looks like he's pushed out of bounds, and that would stop the clock.
21, John Smith on the stop, prevents the touchdown. With 7 seconds left, Jerry.
We don't know the official time, and the score clock that we're looking at says 37 seconds. Ruska operating from the 2-yard line, hands off to Nitti, gets very close to the goal line.
Don't think he went in, Jerry.
Rucal in on the tackle. And everybody's yelling, do it fast from the Bobcat side of the field. They hardly take any time. Quarterback sneak, penalty on the play.
And there are 26 seconds left on the clock. There's a flag down, so we're getting a little bit of excitement at the end of this game.
Illegal motion against Byron Hill.
Well, that normally happens, illegal motion, when you're rushing and doing a no-huddle offense. So the ball's brought out to the 6-yard line. 24 seconds left in the game. Lafredo lined up over the ball. Ruska, a keeper. Ruska, the 5, the 4, the 3, the 2. He's in. Touchdown, Byram Hills. A very sustained drive and a very strange set of circumstances which allowed Eastchester get what apparently will be the winning score. And they'll be going for the 2. Ruska throws. Nitti, good.
This sets up a very interesting scenario.
Because they still have time for the onside kick.
That is correct. And
so the score now is 17-14.
So what turned out to be a rather lackluster second half turns out to be what you would call, as our friend Paul Votano would say, a barn burner, because now with the onside kick, it makes it very interesting. And of course, on the front line, the sure-handed players, of which one is Mr. Vaccaro, who ran back the ball for a touchdown. So if he does it again, I mean, I don't know what the chances of that are, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, anything could happen. There's 11 seconds left. Barely time for anything to happen, but who knows? Here is the onside kick. Oh, it's to Vaccaro again. Unbelievable. He's pulled down by Jordan Garris.
You would think they would have learned the first time, but I guess they didn't.
Oh, we are never going to hear the end of it from Vaccaro.
It looks like it's about the end of the game, Jerry. It's 3 seconds.
And that is... Yes, no, no. There's still time for one more play. And, of course, Maldari will sit on the ball. And, Ed, as he does so, we will give you the scoring. In the first quarter, Eastchester took it in on a run by Fiorello, capping a 60-yard drive. The point after, Maldari to Honorata. That is the ball game. Byram Hill scored on a Ruska to Posner pass, 12 yards. Nothing happened in the third quarter, as you mentioned, Augie. And then Eastchester scored on a safety, followed by a return of safety touchdown by Vaccaro, 1 point by Tsunemura. And then, as you just saw, Ruska ran it in from his quarterback slot, capping a long Byram Hills drive, and the 2-point conversion from Ruska to Nitti. Wow. Final score, 17-14. Who would have thunk it?
Go Eagles!
So this is Jerry Fishoff for Augie Lanzetta, Dave Gargani. Stay with us. We will have post-game interviews.